Hello and welcome to Brickin. Today we are building a divination classroom and office. So we're going to start on this side. Now the divination classroom, along with the defense against the dark arts, was one of the new wave of sets at the beginning of April 2022, and they were really the sets that spurred me on to making my Hogwarts into a fully modular or a much fuller build than it was, because obviously I had a few modules and I started off with my Hogwarts Moments sets, the first 4, and as I've mentioned in previous videos, I built those up into the spellcasting tower that I found on Rebrickable, and just having them in a much more room-shaped configuration was really what I realised I wanted to do with my sets. And then when these guys came along, I thought, well, you know, one tower's not going to be enough. It's going to start looking ridiculous. What I really need is a whole castle. And so I moved from just using the book covers to create our modules into what I've ended up with. Now, I'm sure there are people out there going, hang on, why are you just building one wall? Well, this is a module that really never got past the test build stage. I started putting it together almost as soon as I'd built the divination classroom set exactly as it should be, and I just wanted to see if my idea for this set would work, and it kind of did first off the bat, so I never actually changed it. So it's not probably the most stable of builds. Just one wall by itself, not really the way forward. But that's how I've got it, and that's how I'm sticking with it. I actually start thinking about this build long before I ever got the sets, because obviously you can see the product images, and I saw the excuse me, I saw the sticker set that came, and the way it was arranged in the divination classroom was very interesting to me, and I thought, well, that just leads us to 2 stacked modules, doesn't it? So instead of trying to cram the whole set in the classroom, I split it into 2, so I could make use of this sticker set here. So as you can see, we've got a staircase and it goes up to the next level, and that gives you an idea of where I went with this build, and you'll see by the end what we come up with. So I really liked the curtains, so we kept the curtains as part of the build. Let's just pop these together. They're not exactly as they were, so we had some really nice orangey yellow tiebacks initially, but I managed to ping one of those off into the void and never managed to recover it. Still got some of these 2x, so we're going to keep that colour detail on the top. And eventually I might even get round to ordering some replacements, so we can just get those nice colourful ties, because the black is a little dingy, especially against the dark red. We're just going to use this set of curtains just to block off the borders of that sticker. I'm going to finish building up the curtains. We use a 2x plate just to integrate them into the walls a little better. And this is where I have to remember what I've done now. Yes. So you may notice when I was gabbling on about how I came to this, I had to build the side wall. There we go, just a little decorative carve off our curtains. I had to build the side wall with some plates and things. That's because these bricks here need to be spaced out properly, and with the little 1x tile in there means we need a 1x just to bring everything back into alignment, because these pins need to line up with neighbouring modules. And unusually in my divination classroom I do need to link into the modules. We don't just stack them loosely because of a new part that I've recently built. So next up across. Now those stairs obviously are just hanging in space at the moment, but you'll see shortly, I hope. Oh, disaster. Those stairs aren't just left hanging, they do actually go somewhere. Just got a little column here on this side, just to sort of hide the edge of that plate that you can see. There we go. The next section along. As you can see, I was really just getting shapes put together when I was designing this, and I wasn't really thinking about how it would all work out in the end. But as it turned out, it was fine. So before I fill in the next section, I'm just going to put in the last wall. We've got the last couple of windows from the original Hogwarts Moment set, and just another brick selection. Have a little bookshelf there just for a bit more visual interest, and I think that sticker came from a Dumbledore's office sticker sheet. Clearly you know which set that's from, I don't need to tell you. And then we're just going to finish off with the little shelf full of teacups and teapots. We seem to be having a bit of a multiversal crossover here with our teapot. It's just going to slot in there. And our last brick across the top. We'll tie those walls together. So there we go. There we have our basic shell for our divination classroom. But we need a bit more detail in there. So leading up to our sticker, we have this, just a small flight of steps. Actually ends up being quite a long flight of steps. I could have condensed it down. We didn't, so that will lead up there. So as you look at it head on, let's just bring it all into shot. You can see the steps lead up, make a turn and head up there. Then we have this little arrangement here. Just a 1x round on top of a telescope on top of 2 cylinders. Just going to pop in there. Although it doesn't quite align with the sticker, it gives a bit of an illusion of the start of the banister rail. A few more teacups in front of the windowsill. These teacups are the bane of my existence. So one of the few elements that aren't really, you know, one stud, one plate wide. They're a bit wider over the top, so they never really fit against the wall, hence the cutouts just behind the teacup shelf here. And they don't sit next to each other, which is why we need a little raised platform in the middle. And I really wish that I just used a sticker piece for the teacup shelf, but I've used that elsewhere, and you'll see that in another module at another time. Let's just make it look like a divination classroom. We've got a little Ravenclaw here on the crystal ball, trying to get some insight into who's going to win the Quidditch. A couple of students sharing a pot of tea. There we go. A Hufflepuff and a Gryffindor. Clearly delighted to be out of the cold, having to write a dream diary. Just clearly compensation enough for getting to spend the afternoon in a warm classroom, even if you do have to do it with Professor Trelawney. So we'll finish off tiling the top here, just so we can link all our modules together and to provide a bit of stability to this quite shonky build. And there we have it. There's our Divination classroom, our curtained entranceway. That's one of our viewing angles in the castle, or it was. I've now changed the layout of my castle because I've recently added a new quite large module, and the curtained entrance from Divination leads into that new module. There's a teaser for you. Okay, let's move on to our office. And so to the office, which is upstairs from the Divination classroom. You can see the continuation of that sticker, showing the top of the window, a bit more curtain, and that lovely lamp piece. It was a very nice sticker and I wanted to use it. The build itself, nothing particularly special. Again, excuse the camera wiggle. Just one of their very simple box builds that I started building just to see if the idea would work, and it did. So I never actually adapted the build. So here we have Professor Trelawney's armchair. Just slots in there. And the lady herself fortifying herself before going downstairs to start a class. Of Rowena Ravenclaw on the wall just for a bit of decoration. Put our front bar across, and that's the completed module. Let's bring our classroom back in. We'll stack these up here. As you can see, or you would be able to if Professor Trelawney wasn't in the way, but those two stickers line up perfectly just to continue the illusion that is our two linked rooms. So there we have our Divination classroom and office. We're currently capping those off, not that you can see it. We're just capping those off with two leftover roof pieces from the hospital wing. So if you've enjoyed this video, please drop us a like, share this video, it really does help grow the channel. And if you'd like to see more Hogwarts MOC build modules, then please subscribe to Brickin. Goodbye.